focuses on Iraq, Iran, and Afghanistan. We preemptively went into Iraq, and not one terrorist from Iraq. And now there's Iran, and you made sort of the joke of bomb, bomb, bomb Iran. I hope that was a joke. And Osama's still running around somewhere. So I wonder what your feelings are on preemptively going into countries where we don't really like the leader, if they have oil or if they don't have oil, and what you plan to do with your president on going into Iran, not going into Iran, pulling out of Iraq, not pulling out of Iraq, going into Afghanistan, or any other countries that you think you want to win wars with. And we lost Vietnam. You said you knew how to win wars. You weren't in there. And I don't know if winning wars is necessarily something that a president wants to do or should do.
Thank you. You asked a very profound question, and I appreciate it. And I will, again, not try to give a long response because we have other questions and comments. But since Americans are in harm's way, and Americans have made enormous sacrifice, I think it's worthy, and the Iranian threat and the situation in Afghanistan could lead to further greater sacrifices. I'd like to just say to you, we are in a dangerous world. There's the threat of radical Islamic extremism, which threatens everything we stand for and believe in. This is an evil that sometimes it's hard for us to comprehend. And they are active in a lot of places in the world. There is some information that they try to reestablish cells in the United States of America. Obviously, they've had some small success in Europe. It's an evil that's hard to encompass. Not long ago, Al-Qaeda took 2 mentally disabled young women, put suicide vests on them, and sent them into a marketplace in Baghdad, and by remote control detonated those suicide vests. It's hard for us to encompass how evil these people are. They like to cut off people's heads and put it out on the internet. And they're dedicated to the extinction of everything we stand for and believe in. Now, I believe we were justified in going into Iraq based on the fact that every intelligence agency in the world, including the United States of America, believed that Saddam Hussein had nuclear weapons. He'd used them, weapons of mass destruction, and he had used them twice before, and there's no doubt about his willingness and desire to develop them and use them again. The sanctions were breaking down, American planes were being shot at, there was a multi-billion-dollar oil for food scandal in the UN, etc., etc. But that's a history, and that is for historians to argue about, and I'll be glad to have that discussion at some academic forum. But we are there, and we went there, and we were losing badly. And I went over there early on and saw the strategy, and I said, this can't succeed, it's going to fail, we got to change it. I was criticized by Republicans for being disloyal. I said at the darkest time in my political aspirations for president, I said, we've got to send 30,000 more troops over there. Everybody, the political pundits and others said, McCain's campaign is dead. And my friends, I said I would rather lose a political campaign than lose a war. And I said we had to do this new strategy, and that is a strategy. It isn't just an injection of troops. And they have succeeded. They have succeeded, my friends, they have succeeded. And I'll be glad to give you all the data to back that up. Now, have we had victory and final victory? No. The Al-Qaeda and others are back on their heels, but they still are intent on doing bad things. And they'd love to try to resurrect their efforts. And they've still got the Iranians who are exporting the most lethal explosive devices into Iraq that is killing young Americans. And we've still got the Iranians trying to develop, moving forward with developing nuclear weapons. But in Iraq, we have a government that is pretty effective. We have a justice system that is stumbling and haltingly moving forward. And we have succeeded.